With the first pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, the Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark, University of Iowa.
Hello, folks, and welcome back to High Fever, your Indiana Fever basketball podcast. I'm your host, Josh Barcenas, and welcome back, everyone, to High Fever. I hope you're as excited as I am. It's been a minute, but holy moly, this is probably the biggest pod that we've ever done, and definitely one of the greatest moments in Indiana Fever history. Caitlin Clark, selected first overall by the Indiana Fever out of Iowa. Do I even have to explain what this means? Yes, I do, because it is a podcast about the Indiana Fever. So I will go ahead and explain that to you. Folks, they're Iowa's all-time leading scorer. D1 women's scoring leader. She just got that this season. NCAA single season 3-point record. Caitlin Clark holds that. Not to mention multiple Big Ten Players of the Year, multiple Naismith and AP Players of the Year. This is Caitlin Clark, and she is here. She is on the Indiana Fever. This is the moment that we've been waiting for. This is exactly what we've been talking about, and we've been hoping for. Listen, so many things, and this is what I think people forget a lot of times, was that this was not a foregone conclusion. Remember that, folks. Remember that there was talk that maybe she stays in college another year, maybe she doesn't come out of college, maybe the Fever don't get that first pick. There was a lot riding on where we are today, but here we are. Caitlin Clark is your first overall pick by the Indiana Fever. It felt good watching it. Aaliyah Boston was there at the draft. The draft was great. And look, the thing is that this draft wasn't bad. This is a really stacked draft. There's going to be some really good, and I think, obviously the big names, right? You've got Caitlin Clark, Cameron Brink, Angel Reese got picked a little later. Those big names are big for a reason, yes. But I think we're going to see a couple stars come out that we're not expecting. This was a really great draft. And I mean, Cameron Brink would have been okay if, Caitlin Clark didn't end up coming out of college. But we have Caitlin Clark, and the impact was immediate, guys. The impact was immediate. First off, jersey sold out immediately. I don't know if you were like me trying to buy a jersey on Fanatics after the draft, but it sold out immediately. I had to wait a couple days to put in my pre-order for her jersey. There were 10,000 at Gainbridge Fieldhouse to watch this draft. 10,000 people were there watching this draft. And look, I don't want to make it seem like it's something that it isn't, but look, WNBA Twitter has been going off, okay? They've been the chatter has been out of this world. I haven't seen this much women's basketball chatter, and a lot of it, yes, is about the game and about what kind of impact, and we're talking about player pay again. We're talking about travel conditions again, but some of it is just the memes and the jokes that we see about the NBA are starting to come to the W, and that is something that's invaluable. And yeah, some of it is crass, and some of it is, if I'm, just being honest, is a little bit sexist at times. Yes, and that obviously needs, to be put aside, because there's no room for any of that, mean-spirited kind of stuff. But I would hate to say that all chatter is good chatter, but there's just so much of it that this is what happens. And this is what happens in the NBA as well. And I think this season, people are talking about League Pass. They're talking about the games. They're talking about matchups. We're seeing ticket prices being posted. I just looked for a game in my hometown. That thing, one ticket is damn near $300 for nosebleeds. What? What are we doing? What are we doing? It's amazing. It's the game is exploding, and there's so much talent. I mean, we've said this. I said this last year. There's so much talent in this league. Expansion is probably going to have to be rushed. I can't imagine. I mean, the arenas can't hold the fans that want to be there. It's incredible. It's an incredible thing to be watching. It's coming from where we were just a couple years ago, where it felt like it was at an all-time low. This kind of excitement over the league, and now I feel like it's never been higher. I mean, that's just factual. I think this generation of players are going to elevate the league into a level that the league has not known in a long time. So I want to get back to the Indiana Fever for a second. Let's talk about the team fit. Let's talk about how is Caitlin Clark going to fit on this team. She's a scorer. That's what I've known her as, right? And through watching her last season in the last tournament, I assumed she was a scorer more than I realized she had such a passing game. She can absolutely pass the ball. There were passes, right? Some of them were bounce passes. Sometimes she loads up like a football player and just puts it in the pocket of a cutting teammate. And that just gets me excited. I mean, that's Aaliyah Boston every single time. She talked about in her introductory press conference about how she's coming in with a pass first mentality. She's coming in looking to be the point guard who passes. And that's excellent. That's amazing. And Aaliyah Boston is going to be fed so much. I don't even know. I mean, defenses are opposing coaches are already thinking about how are we going to stop this duo. But my thing with that, and my little thing that I'm thinking in my brain is that, like, her green light is going to be amazing. I don't know if we've ever seen a player with as green of a light, especially a rookie, as Caitlin Clark. I mean, I hope Christy Sides and Lynn Dunn sit her down and go, hey, look, okay, pull it whenever you want. You're at the logo, try it. We have, yes, our goal is to make the playoffs, and I appreciate that she's mentioned making the playoffs. But honestly, Caitlin Clark, get to your spot and shoot it. Just shoot it. You've got the green light. That's what I'm saying. Her light has never been this green, maybe since she was in like AAU ball or whatever, middle school shooting it. But man, I really hope, and yes, of course, I'm kidding, but her light will be green. She's not going to be your typical rookie who is going to be told like, hey, distribute the ball, let's try and get a feel. Nope. It's shoot. And if you want to shoot, you shoot it. I hope they're telling her that, but I think her green light is going to be incredibly green. Just coming to her rookie season with that mentality of, let me get my teammates in the groove, that's just going to help a lot. We've got, Katie Lou who's coming in, and then really integrating her into this offense is going to make it, I think with that mentality, it will make it much, much easier for her teammates to be more comfortable. And there's going to be rough points. Like, let's not call it, it's going to be 100% perfect out the gate, because it's just not. The fact of the matter is it's really not. But coming in with that mentality, that's, I think, crucial. And yes, she's going to shoot it. She's going to shoot it. Don't worry. Even though she came in with a pass first mentality, she's going to shoot the ball. Let's talk about the rest of the draft. The Fever picked Celeste Taylor, 15th, out of Ohio State, and Leilani Correa out of Florida, 27th. They're both guards, both shooters, potential shooters for Clark and Boston to surround themselves with. I was reading up, it's hard to know with the mock drafts and exactly how it's going to go. But I'm reading up on Celeste Taylor, who's apparently is a very solid pick. I haven't watched too much of her film, but from what I'm reading, she's a solid pick. It's going to be, and this is the thing, it's like the 12 roster spots is just so tough. With the 15th pick, you just kind of don't, know. And apparently Leilani Correa is another one who they're going to take a flyer on. They're going to see if she can shoot, but this training camp and this cut period, this period of time where, listen, the Fever have a lot of players on the team, and I understand this is a league-wide thing. A lot of teams have a lot of players that need to be cut, and that's just the unfortunate mentality. I mean, that's the unfortunate reality of this league. But the Indiana Fever have some very tough decisions. They have some players who've been on this team for quite some time that might be on the cutting room floor. And I'm thinking, okay, here's this. If you've been listening for a while, you know that I'm a Lexi Hall fan. The Lexi Hall fan club might be coming to an end, unfortunately, folks. I hate to say this, and you hate to see it, because she's been so supportive of Caitlin Clark. But that's the thing with this league, is that it's so cutthroat with only 12 roster spots. I think Lexi Hall makes it, but I think we're looking at players along the lines of Grace Berger that are more likely to be let go, because you do want some veteran presence. That's one of the things that you think about with a rookie, is that you want a veteran presence on the team. And so, yes, Aaliyah Boston is mature beyond her years, and you're going to have Katie Lou come in. I think, Kelsey Mitchell and Alyssa Smith are pretty secure there, but it's going to be some shakeups. There's going to be some stuff. And I think this training camp is going to tell us a lot about where they want to go with Caitlin Clark's rookie year. Right? I think loading up is not on the table for most WNBA teams. That's not really how it goes. It's not like the WNBA. It's not like the NBA. You really have to make it from scratch. You kind of have to sign and draft these players, because big trades are just kind of not the way that this league goes. And so with what's available out there and who you've already got on the roster is what you're going to have to make your championship winning team with. And again, I don't think we see the championship. I think playoffs is the goal, is what I will say. And that's a good goal, right? Because we haven't been in quite some time. So that's a good goal to have, but it's one that you can kind of still play with the roster. You can kind of take a couple more risks, but you also have to have a little bit of a veteran presence in order to make that goal happen. So that's it, folks. Caitlin Clark has been drafted number 1 overall by the Indiana Fever. Buy your jerseys, buy your tickets, get out there, go see some games. This league is expanding at rates we've never seen. It's amazing. Caitlin Clark already has a shoe deal with Nike. She's going to get her own shoe coming out. The buzz is off the charts, and I'm not even talking about the other teams. I'm not even talking about Angel Reese out there in Chicago. I'm not even talking about Nika Mull out there in Seattle. Cameron Brink has come to the City of Angels to save that franchise. There's just so much good stuff around the league. Find podcasts, find people, find things to interact with this league, because you want to be on this ground floor. This is only the beginning. I am so excited. I am so happy to be here for another season. We're going to be doing it. Stay here, subscribe. Preseason starts at the Wings in Dallas on May 3rd, and the regular season for the Indiana Fever starts at the Sun on May 14th. Folks, it's been real. It's going to be a great season. I am so excited, and I will see you soon.